All right, this is gonna be fun today. So, this is the this is the first time I've had my love Eduardo on a video with me.
No, not the first time.
Well, for YouTube,
First-
I never. This is a new thing, and so I wanted to introduce Eduardo, mi amor, and we have a lot to talk about today. We're just gonna free flow with some things. Did you have anything to say before I get started, or you want to just roll with what it?
Yes, I flow. Fear says always send so much grateful everybody and hi, hello, hola. Thank you so much for stay awake in this moment. Thank you so much for stay with us in this transmission. Um, yes, thank you.
Thank you for staying awake. Thank you for staying awake. Oh, wow. So, okay, I just wanted to share. I already did a video a couple days ago, just kind of talking about like taking ownership and responsibility for your health, your body, your organic technology, the way this thing operates. But I'm feeling more and more that we can't talk about this information enough. We were walking around town yesterday in the city here in Costa Rica, and I saw a bus drive by, and it had a bottle of like cooking oil with a picture of a brain, like a brain with like a happy brain or whatever, and it said, contains DHA, EPA, and it was like positioning it like this oil was like, healthy for you because it has this key ingredient, right? This is the fakeness of marketing and things like that. When we know that this stuff can really screw with your systems, just to be real honest. But if you don't know, you don't know, right? So our prayer is that the third eye is opening, which means that you can read between the lines, you can see the truth, and you don't fall for the gimmicks of this funny little marketing game. And then we went to the park, and we were playing with River at the park, and we struck up a conversation with a woman that I could tell spoke English. Our daughters were kind of communicating with each other, and found out that she had just moved from Cincinnati, Ohio for her husband's job. And we had shared with her actually a little bit about why we were in this area, which was connected to River being born and not having her vaccinations because we don't believe in vaccinating our children, and how we've basically not been able to return to our normal home location for this purpose. And she was a little shocked by that. And then she also said, I've heard the same thing. I had another American friend who came here to Costa Rica, and they thought it would be more lenient, but they realized it was actually even more strict. And I was like, well, yeah, it's because of the politics going on here. It's because of the relationship that the United Nations has with Costa Rica right now, and the World Health Organization, and Pfizer's presence here, this corporate presence of some of these big names, these billions of dollars corporations. And I'm just going to say it, like any stock prices that have went up over the last 3 years have been probably the most corrupt as possible. They're the ones that just made money on the human experimentation of humanity. And so we've got to be a little more aware about what we're consuming, what we're agreeing to, what we're believing out there about our health, about what's good for us, about what we're putting in our body. We can't fall into the same traps that we might have fallen into before. And so I feel like there's like a splitting of the worlds going on right now. I feel like there's a split. It's almost done, and I can hold it in a second, babe. I feel like there's a split going on in the world right now, where like we're at a very important choice point in our reality. We're at a choice point of we go this way or we go this way. And when we go this way, it means we're trusting this old sick show, this old medical industry, this old pharmaceutical industry, this old chemical industry, this old consumerism industry. We're trusting them to take care of us, or we're choosing to take another path, which means I'm going to empower myself and I'm going to take care of myself, because I feel this is like a matter of life or death. And when that first came out of my mouth earlier today, when me and Eduardo were just having a general conversation, I was like, God, that sounds a little drastic. I'm not here to put any fear out there, but I am here to be real, that it is a matter of life or death, the path that you choose in this now moment about where you take your life going forward. And we have to start to have eyes to see and ears to hear, and to forgive ourselves where we've maybe been a little bit ignorant, right? We just didn't know. We just didn't have any idea, but now we do. And so I want to give you an idea. It was so interesting that I met this woman, and her partner was from Procter and Gamble. And so I had recognized that Procter and Gamble has made a big presence here in Costa Rica recently, because the YouTube commercials have been about Procter and Gamble. Well, what does Procter and Gamble sell? They sell some pharmaceutical type of medications. They sell a lot of fake products with fake ingredients, synthetic fragrances and things like that. These are things that are affecting our hormonal systems. This stuff's a little more new here to Costa Rica, but it's been around for years, right? This company, I looked up the history of Procter and Gamble and the money that they're bringing in and where they came from. It's actually very interesting. I just found out that it was a brother and a brother-in-law, and one of them was a candle maker and one of them was a soap maker. And these products were made out of animal products. They were made out of the fat of the pig, which is also a whole nother interesting story, because I just saw something where basically like the genes of a pig and a human are rather similar in nature. It was almost like this weird experiment in pig farms and all of that stuff. Like, anyways, it's important that we start to open our eyes and think about these codes and what this really means, what I'm saying here. But last night, somehow, I don't even know how exactly, my iPad had a split screen, and I'm still trying to figure, I know it's easy, but I'm not so technically inclined these days to kind of, and thanks for your patience, babe, while I flow through this intro. But I wanted to show you, in one screen, it was like a split screen. You might not be able to see this so well, but I hope so. One of them is Alice Coltrane, Journey to Satyananda. Right? The other side was a Procter and Gamble advertisement. And look, she's just like, oh my God, look, I'm like gonna have this medicine right now. I'm so excited. Artificial intelligence. And then we've got my homegirl, Alice Coltrane, talking about her journey in Satyananda, right? So we're talking about the synthetic health with all of these synthetic products and synthetic medications that are always disempowering you from taking control of your own health. When the journey in Satyananda, featuring Pharaoh Sanders from Alice Coltrane, these are basic historic principles about your health. The meditations, the yoga, the creativity, the art, the song, the dance, the singing, and of course the foods we're eating, and of course the products we're putting on our body. And number one, we don't need as much food as we think to survive, but it's become such a business that, I don't know, I'm thinking of this movie WALL-E. If anybody hasn't seen it before, I kind of bring it up sometimes. I always have this visual memory. And the first time I watched it, I was just like, oh wow, watching it like a person eating chips, watching a movie for entertainment. But then now, as my eye is open, I'm seeing that this entertainment was showing me a message of some sort, because eventually, at the beginning of WALL-E, they show this robot and all these piles of like wasteland of like metals and things, right? And then they go back in time and kind of show, I think everybody had to go off planet to another location, and these dudes are just sitting there floating in these little seats, like, cool, we've got this new technology, I can sit on this little floating thing and I can have my McDonald's french fries delivered to me while I have a screen in front of my eyes, and I'm just entranced. I'm just entrained. And you know what I actually wrote earlier today? I wrote about entrainment, or entertainment, entrainment. And then the only letters left, if you were to extract the word entrainment, which is the way that they do mind control programming, is through entertainment. And I said E.T. entertainment, E.T. entrainment. I'm talking about this Martian-like entertainment. Oh, River's awake. Dang, I want you to come back. This Martian-like entrainment that's taking place right now with what we're seeing in the advertising industries, the marketing industries, the movies that are being shown to us, which please remember and know that this is true, that anything in the entertainment that they're showing you, there's always some truth to what they're showing you, because the ETs are required to show you the truth about what they're doing. They can't keep it a secret, but they do it through entertainment. So you think you're just being entertained. Are you not entertained? Right? You think you're just watching a movie and having a good old time or something like that. But really, if you pay attention deeper and you ask yourself, what if this was true? Right? Like the movie The Matrix, which is a documentary. It is true. You know, what if this was true, and what if they're telling me something that I need to know? And if I can have my third eye open, then I can see the truth and extract through what it is that they're telling me. And so River was taking a nap, but I hear she just woke up. So I'm hoping Eduardo can come back and hang out with us, or maybe I can stop talking and he can talk a little bit, and just kind of add to what it is that I'm talking about here. But I'm feeling like more now than ever, we have to return to the simplicity, and we have to remember how this organic technology is working, and we have to share this with the people that we care about, share it with our family and friends, for those with eyes to see, right? Not everybody can. Like, I'm not going to force anything on anyone. I'm not going to try to convince someone of something, but I am going to say, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to trust myself here. I'm going to take back my health. I'm going to educate myself. And I'm not talking from Google or from the doctors or from the doctors' websites or from the pharmaceutical websites. No, I'm talking about my natural remedies. I'm talking about getting out of the synthetics and going back to the herbs, right? Plants, including mushrooms and cannabis here. Importante, es importante. We've got to leave these synthetic things behind, synthetic soaps, synthetic fibers, synthetic telepathy, from synthetic to authentic, from inorganic to organic. It's important now more than ever that we start to take control of our vitality. I was just writing today too. I said vitality is the greatest indication of your connection to your spirit or to God. It doesn't matter your God, your religion, your beliefs, your practices. It doesn't matter any of that stuff if you are not feeling vital, if you do not feel vitality in your life. And vitality is directly connected to your health, to your joy. If you're lacking vitality, you've been given an opportunity in your life to connect back to your true source, connect back to the truth. Now more than ever, you must plug into the source that gives energy and gives you life, instead of plugging into the source that is taking it away. So you need to ask yourself, we're all in these choice points right now in our lives. We need to ask ourselves, where is our vitality? Where is our life force? Where is our energy? Where are we giving away our attention to something that is distracting us and extracting our life force energy? Where are we being sucked in? Where are we being sucked dry? Where are we lacking vitality? Where are we lacking joy? Where are we lacking health? These are not things a medical industry is ever going to educate you on or give you. There's a new spiritual science in town, and it's important that we start to take on this knowledge. It is important. I'm giving you a special gift right now to say we must take our life and our health and our bodies back into our own hands. A good example of where I'd say humanity's been hijacked also has to do with the way we're birthing our children, where we're birthing our children in these hospitals and these asylums, where there's a lot of death and a lot of illness, where a woman is actually afraid to even consider the idea of a natural birth without medications or in nature. Like we've completely got cut off from the source of the mother and nature. And so now is the return. This is the return of the mother. She's been locked in the cage, I like to say. And when the mother returns, and when the mother is in charge, everyone is taken care of. And so we've been seeing a planet of sickness, a planet of cancer, a planet of illness, a planet of disconnection, a planet of mental health issues. And we're seeing an influx of addictions to synthetic medications. And we forgot how to remember our power, how to return to the source, how to connect back to the source, our fifth force, our energy force, our life force. Star Wars is not a lie. There is a war going on in the stars right now for your life force, and you are originally a celestial being of light. And when you remember this and you start to educate yourself and you start to practice and you start to put the right things in your mind, you remember something very important, and you're no longer entrained, mind controlled by a system that obviously these systems who are interested in making money, I actually say that artificial intelligence, money is an example of artificial intelligence. It's because of this funny fake thing called money, with these inflated businesses and billionaires and billion-dollar companies and different things like that. Go see what those companies are. Go see who the billionaires are and what they own and what they're supporting. Right? These billionaires are making money off of you and your health or your lack of health. They're not, an industry like that is not so interested in you going all natural. An industry like that is not interested in you trusting your body and not needing so many consumable items and tampons and toothpaste with fluoride. Procter & Gamble was the first company to bring fluoride in. They were the first company, I was just reading, that brought in, what's it called, Orlean oil or whatever, which is basically connected to, I remember when the Lay's potato chips had a warning that said, Orlean oil may cause anal leakage or something. It was on the Ruffles or the Lay's potato chips. And I was like, okay, who the fuck wants to eat that, right? This new oil that they just created. Cool, sounds great. Let me eat my chips and watch my TV shows, right? Actually, Procter & Gamble is why there's soap operas. They called it soap operas. They were the ones that would fund and support these soap operas. So whatever you would be watching when you'd be sitting there watching As the World Turns, Young and the Restless, eating bonbons, right? And then you'd get advertisements for the next soaps, the Ivories, the Dawns, the tampons, the toilet papers, right? I remember being in an industry where we were making money selling consumables, and they taught me this. It was like a basic 101. If you want to be in a business that makes money, be in a business that the people need to use this stuff every single day. That's the type of business you'd want to be in. That's what you'd want to be selling. Well, you know what? One day I recognized I don't want to sell out anymore. I don't want to sell out, and I don't want to sell anything to anyone. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I don't want to sell computers. I used to work for Dell. I don't want to sell supplements. I went through a phase in my life, and I can't say they didn't help me get to where I'm going or get to where I am now, where I used to use a lot of supplements. I'd go on a trip, and I'd have a thing just of supplements, right? I'm not saying they're bad. They can get you to where you're going, but eventually when you become a sustainable system within yourself, you don't need anything external to you. Your life force isn't being leaked out, right? And sexual energy is another place where the life force energy is leaked out. So we're looking for becoming more wise about, where is my energy leaking out? Where am I working too much? Where am I making a bunch of money and building an empire for some other corporation or for something that I thought was going to bring me this happiness and this fulfillment, but it's not? Hey, babe, did you want to say anything? Okay. And so we've got to start asking ourselves these questions. I'm sharing this information because I care about my fellow brothers and sisters. And I've been a little quiet about this stuff, I think, because I just keep thinking that everybody just knows what they need to know and just let everybody go along their path. And yeah, and also I care. and I'd want to hear this message. My 8 years ago version of myself, is it 8 years or maybe longer? I don't know. 11 years. Let's go back 11 years. My 11 years ago version of myself was dying to hear this. You know, at that moment in time, like, I was starting to put on the most weight I ever had. I was starting to be so tired I could barely stay awake, working all the time. And so, you know, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. And so it was 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I heard the call. My intuition. It was a little before that, but the intuition started to wake up in me and started to call me. It eventually called me here to Costa Rica. It called me to simplify my life, to pretty much sell everything I own and minimalize. And really what it did was, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it did give me the space. It gave me the awareness. It pulled me out of distraction. It extracted me from a world that was constantly bombarding me with sales. You need this, you need that. I see 3 blue dragonflies flying in a spiral with each other right now. You need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. It wasn't until I moved here to Costa Rica, and then when I went back on a trip over to the US, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize it until you go live in the forest and the jungle for a while, where, you know, in order to get to a store, you got to get in the car and you got to drive about 20 minutes at least, or something like that, and maybe more if you really want to go get some of your organic goods and things like that. You know, that I realized, wow, it's hard not to be sucked into the abyss when you're in that space. It's hard not to be pulled in to Cosmos. Hey, Cosmos. You want to say hi? Okay, Cosmos. Cosmos is a red dragon. Today is kin number 19, blue rhythmic. Okay, no kisses. No. Nilcha. He speaks Russian. So it's funny because I'll try to speak English with him and he's like, okay, but he speaks Russian. Okay. Dang, what was I talking to you about? He's like, okay, next topic. See, if I was on a live, I miss doing my lives, because if I was on a live, somebody could bring me right back, or I could flow with whatever's coming in, but I haven't been able to figure out the lives. I used to do lives on Facebook all the time, but my technology on that device is not allowing me to do that, so now I'm switching over to this way for some reason in this moment in time. So, waking up, simplicity, organic, inorganic, spiritual healing, synthetic, moving from the synthetic medicines. This is the point where we must choose life or death. It's truly like we're at a point in our lives where we have to decide which way we're going to go. Are we going to go to the vital path? Are we going to go the path where we take care of ourselves? Are we going to go the path where we heal ourselves? Are we going to go the path where we remember who we truly are? I remember when I started hearing in songs, like I started to hear songs coming in. And I was actually at a music festival, Envision Music Festival, which is a pretty famous festival known here in Costa Rica. It was 5 years ago-ish. And I heard, remember, 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 remember who you are, remember, 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 mama, oh, 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 mama, I remember, 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 remember who you are. That was my first, one of my first medicine experiences, actually. and I started to receive information about remembering the truth of who I was. I never really shared this so much with people openly because I felt like if I had taken a plant medicine that it wasn't valid, what I was hearing or what I was seeing or what I was feeling. It's interesting, you know, these medicines, you could say, could be used to open up your perception, open up the doorways to your perception. That's exactly why I always say we right now are the result of the war on drugs that was taking place in the 60s, where they were trying to, you know, people were starting to awaken. There was like this revolution coming. These people were like, burn the bras, you know, they were like, free the people, make love, not war. And like, it's so interesting how that ended up somehow getting mocked. And that you could be called a hippie or something like that, or that people could get killed for talking about peace and love. How interesting, right? What a crazy reversal. What a curse. What a reverse curse, right? That there were beings that were starting to awaken to this thing. And I've seen the movie Jesus Revolution, right, where they kind of show that people got a little too crazy. There was a Jesus Revolution. It was in San Francisco. It's an interesting movie to watch. And it showed, like, again, it's another thing that makes the plant medicines look bad, right? So they're showing all these people like getting wasted and dying, right? And they're taking these plant medicines because they're hurt in their life and there's trauma and they can't seem to find their way back home or something like that. But I believe that these things can be responsibly used to really help and open the doors, the windows of your perception. And so even in a lot of the spiritual teachings out there with a lot of the gurus and different things like that, they're like holding this space that everyone can attain this state without ever doing anything like that. And certainly in Christianity, it would be perceived as bad or a drug or something like that. Even I've had to rearrange my mind about what I perceive as a drug. You know, when I first came to Costa Rica, someone approached me and they were like, hey, have you ever done MDMA or mushrooms? And I told my husband at the time, we got to get the fuck out of here. These people are on drugs. And it's like, it's funny for me to think back about that now, but I can see the innocence in my perception and how there had been some programming there where I hadn't fully opened up to the idea of the softening up of like, why are these things here? Why is this coming into my reality? What's it really trying to tell me? Would I be open to the idea of exploring something like that, right? I'm not saying everyone needs to do that, but I am saying that a lot of the people that I've been meeting have somehow usually been introduced through plant medicines. For me also, you know, ending alcohol in my life and exploring a little bit with cannabis was a big eye-opener for me and a big healer within my body that got me off of any pharmaceuticals that I was taking at the time for anxiety and stress. Eventually it led me to a perception where I was like, I'm not really here to be working all the time. I'm not really here to be working all the time and then having like happy hours on Fridays, drinking, and then drinking on the weekend, watching football, and then having the Sunday night blues, Monday morning blues, knowing I was going to have to wake up and go to work again, working my 9 to 5, you know, making billions of dollars for Dell Hill. So funny. You know, like something woke me up and I was like, wait a minute. And isn't that interesting? Like you would have to take a drug test before you get a job at a corporation. I mean, I think they're a little more relaxed on these things now, but it's just interesting why they wouldn't want you to open your perception. They. Who do you want to call they? You can call them whatever you'd like to call them. You can use your imagination here. You could say the Matrix. You could say alien forces. You know, the terminology and the funny joke about Mars invasions has been coming in lately. An alien invasion. Everyone's talking about alien invasions. Like there's going to be spaceships coming from the sky. Go watch the movie Pixels, and it talks about the aliens coming and like doing war on the planet. To me, everything going on right now that has to do with military, combat, battle, chemicals is negative aliens. Sexual abuse, sexual addiction, alcohol addiction, pharmaceutical addiction is alien agenda. It's already here. Open your eyes. And so you're being called by the Palladian angels. The angels are here and we're saying, hey, wake up. A blanket of stars will protect you from Mars. The Mars family is the second richest family in the world. They manufacture candy and pet food. When I saw that not so long ago, I was like, damn, that's interesting. So what I would see there is that pet food, animal food, is not so different from candy, right? Like, they're both feeding animals. There has been a human experiment taking place. You know how you would buy something and it would say not tested on animals? Well, if it's tested on you, so it's definitely, you don't see anything that says not tested on humans, do you? Because you're being tested right now. You're being experimented on. When people talk about alien abductions and being taken up in ships and being abducted, well, to me, a hospital room is an abduction room. Now, these doctors and these nurses, they just know what they know. They know what they were taught in the institution, in the programming station, right? You know, the person that's giving jabs right now, like, they think they're doing what they need to do to help the people. They just don't know the truth about the true agenda behind why these things are happening. These PCR tests that were done, that many people did, was to collect your DNA, to see who you were, what you have inside you, all of these blood transfusions, plasma transfusions, stem cell testing. Now I just got connected to this idea of something connected to the Firefly neuropsychiatry or something like that, where they're connecting things to your brain and they're testing the way that your brain is firing, and they're working on controlling where your brain fires so that they can heal you. Don't do it. Don't trust these mothers, I'm telling you. There are other ways to do this. There are other ways to figure this out. There are other ways to help yourself. If you've got mental health stuff going on, the first thing you've got to do is know how this system has been working and why. And then you can start to recognize how you've gotten caught up in it. And then you can slowly but surely start to clean yourself of this system. And in some cases, I would say there's an extraction or an eviction notice of parasitic energy forces that are operating through your body. I always say this actually about the sexual distortion that's on the planet right now. It has to do with parasitic entities, demonic entities, I might say, satanic type of entities. Wherever you're leaking your sexual energy, and even in the spiritual community, I've really recognized, like, there's a lot of these tantric groups and things like that, and they're like, yeah, tantra and raising the energy, but if it's still leaking energy and everybody's running around screwing everybody, it ain't it. If you got to get wasted to do it, it ain't it. We lost the sacred sexuality somewhere out there. We forgot what sacred sexuality is. We don't even know what it is. There's a lot of stuff out there about it, but I still think it's being kept below the belt. We're talking about the transcendental. We're talking about the higher version of what true love making is about, and what it's here and designed to do, that's been taken from us. It's written out of the books. You know, if we trust history alone, it's going to tell us about the wars, the battles, the territory, the blood. That's his story. That's the history. But what we're talking about is revealing, unveiling, remembering the herstory, the mystery, from the history to the mystery of our divine nature that we've forgotten, the awakening, the revelation to the divinity within ourselves, where we're no longer pigs in a race, where we're no longer experiments in a lab. One day, River somehow got my iPad and she opened up this YouTube video, and it was rats. And they were like running around in these little things, and they were recording them, and they were showing how they could like do their control, like control their behaviors and make them do certain things. And that's what she had pulled up for me to see. And I was like, wow, this is what's going on. I was just in Georgetown, Texas not too long ago when I went on a trip to Austin. It was the first time I'd been in the United States in 3.5 years, and my son was Dyer. He was having a school event, a field trip, right? And so the field trip was like about this fruit farm. So I'm thinking we're going to go there and we're going to learn about fruits and like pick fruits and learn about plants and things. No, instead I saw big containers of this oil, gross stuff they're feeding the animals there. The kids got to run around and play on the playground. It had rained the day before, so it was a little muddy. We had entered at first, and it was nothing but this factory of donuts and sugar and candied fruits and, you know, sweet Starbucksies types of coffees and things like that. There were no greens, there were no vegetables, there were no fruits. We're going to the fruit farm, right? It's a little strange to me. I think the address was like 144,000 or something like that, which is very interesting. Actually, it was right on the San Gabriel River. I went down there just to go look at this beautiful river, and I found a little arrowhead. There's a lot of history over there in Texas in general, but over the San Gabriel River. And the San Gabriel, that's a saint, right? So anywhere there's a name of a saint, San Gabriel, like I've been going here to this church called the San Miguel, which is Saint Michael, right? So we're connecting with the saints and the energy of saints. And we are saints, actually, but we might have forgot that we're a saint. But we're not here to just be experimented on. So here's what happened at the field trip. First of all, they gave the kids packaged goldfish. There was like school lunches they brought in paper bags. Pure white bread of the worst kind, guys. Maybe you're still eating white bread like that. Cool. I'm just telling you. No wonder why we're sick. And there was like this stack of cheese, 5 pieces of cheese. They look like for sure if I took a lighter to it, it would light on fire like a candle. It was like wax type of material. It was very interesting. This is what they're feeding the kids right now. High fructose corn syrup, ketchup packets, right? Anyways, so the next part of this, so they never learned about the gardening or the fruit farm or the vegetables or any of that. They ate their snacks, they ran around and played, and then they watched this pig race, right? And it's interesting because I might have already said this, but I can't remember. Procter & Gamble is headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, because it has a long history of butchering pigs there. So they have a lot of pig farm type of stuff. Right, so anyways, here they were racing these pigs. They had pigs named Elon Tusk, and like hello River. Oh, what are you eating? So we've been, what do you call it? Fermenting cabbage. I can't think of the exact name of this right now. It's so simple. Good probiotics for your stomach. Raw cabbage. In Spanish you say repollo. Repollo. You put it in a container with water, a little bit of salt. I would prefer a Celtic or a Himalayan salt myself. Some people have their feelings about that, but I definitely wouldn't be using the salt with whatever that stuff is in it. Fluoride, I think. Yeah. I wouldn't be using that. I wouldn't be using anything with fluoride, aluminum oil, none of that, or aluminum foil. Oil, foil, same. Right? Anyway, so we've been canning this beautiful food. It tastes delicious on everything. Get back to eating vegetables, not because they're good for you, but and you have to, because... Hello! Hello!
What is this?
You heard the cow.
Yeah.
You heard the cow.
What is the name?
The vaca?
No.
Unicornio.
Unicornio, yes.
Oh, yeah, his name is Unicornio. Should we sing the Unicornio song? Mm-hmm. Unicornio. There's one of these beautiful cows behind us, and he has only one horn. Kind of like the longhorns, but not quite as long. So, hey, a unicorn is like one horn or one corn. All right, you want to sing it with me, River? Unicornio, 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 unicornio. Thanks, River. How interesting she came and she's eating her little cabbage raw. We've been eating a lot more raw foods. As I was talking to you guys about that white sandwich with all of the thick stacks of yellow cheese that was fake as fuck. So synthetic. We're talking about taking the synthetics out of our lives. Synthetic. Even those synthetic, like smoker things, synthetic. Listen, I'm trying to find the balance here of like not just letting it all go and embracing these things, because this is synthetic too, right? This thing I'm talking to you on is synthetic. It's artificial. I'm trying to find the balance of still keeping this in my life and appreciating it and using it for what it can be used for, to transfer information and knowledge to my brothers and sisters. All right, so here we are at this pig farm though, or it wasn't even a pig farm, but basically it was kind of strangely was. They had these little pigs and they look cute and everything, and the kids are all gathered around like they're at a football game. Football's a very popular sport in America. They don't really know much about football here. They know football like soccer, but not American football. Oh wow, it's called pigskin. That's interesting. Pigskin. All right, so Cosmo must be feeling the storm coming. The synthetic storm. Okay, Cosmos. Okay, so anyways, they start doing this race with these pigs. And everyone's just watching and the kids are clapping. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey. Está bien. Everything is good, okay? They're cheering for these pigs that are racing, and they're like trying to cheer for the winner. Everything is fine. Everything is good. Not here. Don't knock over my phone, okay? So they're cheering for these pigs, right? And every time the pigs would go, they'd open the chutes and the pigs would race and they'd try to get to the win and they'd cheer for the winner. Hey. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Hey. Milcha. Oh my God. I'm just going to finish this up because maybe it's time. But in case you wanted to share something, babe, I wanted you to. We're receiving the Serious Dog transmission right now. I always say the Serious Dog Star, they say, right? So Cosmos is bringing a transmission. If you can embrace the bark and the telepathic communication of the dog who can't speak our language, right? But he's telling us something. Oh, well, that's what I want to tell you guys. I might remember the pig race thing because that was really interesting. But I want to tell you something about the dogs too. Dogs. Okay. Dog. I'm going to try to remember to tell you that. But right now I'm going to finish this pig race thing, right? So the pigs are running around. Everyone's cheering. Yeah. Go pigs. They're watching this pigs race for the win. Who's going to be number one? And so the first race goes and one pig wins. And then the second race goes, another pig wins. And this third race, when they sounded the horn and they opened the gate, one of the pigs didn't race. He sat down. He was like, I'm not racing. You know, he's like, I'm not playing this game anymore. He just stopped. He's like, I'm not going to be an experiment anymore. I'm not going to be your entertainment anymore. And I was like, damn, what a message. Because I feel like I did the same thing. I feel like I just stopped. By the way, pig is connected to gene key 29, in case anyone knows the gene keys here. From half-heartedness to commitment to devotion. And but I realized, I was like, damn, you can sit this out. You don't have to play like that. You don't have to play that game. And the more and more of the pigs or the people that sit out of this experiment, the more we start a new experiment. which is one that's called For the People. You know, the original emblem for the United States was supposed to say, it had an emblem of Moses splitting the sea, and it said, rebellion to tyranny is obedience to God. And I looked up the word tyranny, and it had to do with government control or oppression. And I started to think about the government control and oppression that is inundated. I don't even know if that's the right context of the word. It's there. I can't deny it. It's true. And sometimes my ex-husband David, I hate calling him that. You know, my ex-partner of love would say, you can't say stuff like that. You can't just talk about people like they're stupid or they're bad. I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it out of concern. I'm not saying anything like a casting of a stone here. I'm saying, hey guys, about 8 years ago, I stepped out of the game. I stopped being in the pig race. I actually even stopped watching football. And I used to watch football a lot. I used to sit, are you not entertained? You know, remember, entertainment, entrainment. They're training you. They're advertising you. They're advertising you sexy bitches with their bras, and there's the drinking of the alcohol, and then there's the cars, and then there's like whatever it is, whatever we think we need more of. The next new technology. One day I just stopped falling for it. Just like that, in the blink of an eye. And so I'm holding on to this prayer. I actually, a vision where I see that many, many more, because I feel like me and a group of way showers and light workers, we're kind of getting the memo and hearing the call first. And we've been kind of paving the way for humanity about breaking out of these systems and structures, right? There's a difference in a shaman that's been in the forest their whole life. And, you know, sometimes people go like do an ayahuasca. I've still never done ayahuasca, but I'm just giving you an example. They might like go see a guru or go see a shaman or something, and they might go in the middle of the forest in the Amazon. And these are people that have never actually been in the world that we've been in. But I've been in the world. I've been in the busyness. I've been in the traffic. I've been in the inflation. I've been in the mortgages. I've been in the taxes. I've been in the healthcare systems. I've been in the birth control, birth certificates, vaccines, pediatricians. Like, I've been in the homeowners associations, and, you know, fill in the blanks. I've been there. I'm speaking from experience, and this is my truth. This is not just a theory here. This is truth. We're being programmed. We're being experimented on. And one day I decided I'm going to sit out of that game. I'll do my own human experiment, right? That's when I found the gene keys in human design, which is about it is an experiment. You're experimenting with yourself, with your emotions, with your intelligence, understanding your energy systems, understanding your design. Like, I'm a generator. I'm designed that things come to me. I don't run out and try to force things and make things happen. What a difference in my life when I stopped forcing anything and I allowed things to come to me, and then I could decide based on my inner self if this was a right decision for me or not, by the way that I would feel in my body versus like doing stuff out of force or an unconscious behavior or an old program. All right, there's a lot of programming in there that we've got to work on extracting from ourselves so that we can start to operate again fully as the divine, the mystery, the divinity and the mystery that we truly are, that we came here to be. We've got to remove a lot of the history codes. We've got to remove a lot of the Darwin codes, each man for himself. We've got to remove the idea, the programming of what success looks like. We've got to remove the programming of I, me, my. We will not experience the truth of prosperity. I've known many people in my life that have had everything that they needed, financially successful, private jets and all of the things, blah, 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 and they still have their own issues with their emotions, with their mental state, with feeling true fulfillment in their life. this artificial intelligence called money has really, really put a misunderstanding out there about what true happiness, fulfillment, and success is about. So we are being called to return to the simplicity, to open the eye, to see through what's going on out there. And one thing I've recognized that's really interesting, just talking in the last 3 years of this whole quarantine thing that happened, it's not just a vaccine issue. It's people actually still don't even realize that this was an experiment, the whole thing, from the start of it. And we've been trusting this thing. And the greatest experiment they did, besides, how will these things affect the body? How can we get people to give us all of their DNA and genetic codes and information and fingerprints? And how can we control people through fear? How easy can it be if we take someone called an authority figure called a president or a pastor of a church or a FDA, Food and Drug, and can we put someone in a position of authority to tell someone something that's actually not really with their best interest in mind, and see if people will actually fall for it? Not this time. Maybe last time. Maybe last time you fell for it, but maybe this time you don't fall for it. And maybe this time, in case you were one of those people that influenced your family to get a vaccine when they didn't want to, right? Or you couldn't see me because you didn't get this thing. Maybe we can all awaken to the truth of what was really going on here. I'm done playing nice and polite with this system, pretending like, well, we all have a personal choice. You do. You have a personal choice of life or death. And so I just kind of gave you the crossroads here. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to take my word for this. But I am saying we're at a very important choice point right now, where we step out of that game. We step out of the entrainment. The entrainment. Go look up entrainment and see the pictures of it. How it's like the Twilight Zone. It's like the lasers in the eyes that have you focused on one thing, where you can't see everything going on around you. You can't see the big picture. We've got to extract ourselves, or we've got to have the far-sightedness. We've got to look at the big picture, what's going on here, right? All right, well, I was hoping my love Eduardo would come back, but I guess we'll do another chat another time. I'm glad he was here for a second just to say hello. He's a little more behind the scenes, but this is the information we're always talking about is, protecting nature. And nature is people, and nature is the earth, right? And empowering the people. Empowering ourselves, and empowering the people. And I am you and you are me. So when I see someone out there confused, when I see someone out there zombified, where I see someone out there sick, where I see someone out there that forgot their power, this isn't judgment, this is love. I'm saying, come on, my friends. Peace and love. Peace and love. This is the result of the war on drugs. We've thought everything that's legal is totally fine. Take the pills. Drink the beer. Eat that fake shit. Right? So we return to the innocence and we return to nature. And we remember our vitality is the gauge of our life force energy. Our vitality and our life force and our health is telling us the body never lies. It's telling us what's going on. What are we missing? What can we not see? How do we see the bigger picture? A doctor has a plan for you, but I can't say it's the best one. You've got to become your own doctor. And I am here to help in some ways too. I can help you see where you can't see. Just ask for help. You gotta ask for help. Sending you guys so much love. We'll talk to you soon. Is there anything else I need to say? I just want to show you this picture of the firebird. Quantum Phoenix and the firebird. We are lighting a fire up in this mother. Up in this mother, up in this mother. So don't get distracted out there too much. Go inside, as within, so without. The body never lies. Ask for help if you need it. There are many people here to help you, and we've got to get back to the basics and the simplicity and the holistic way of looking at ourselves and nature and our life. Whole foods, whole hearts, self-love. We've got to rewrite some programming on the self-love and the emotions and believing you're good enough or not good enough. Like so much deep programming in there that needs to just be extracted from the system. All right, much love. 5-5, we be live. Dragonfly's dream. This is the prophecy of the great change, of the coming of the new time, of the coming of the new time.